Welcome back to the Forge of Champions playoffs here. We're in the quarterfinal stages, and so far we've had 3 teams progress through to the semi-finals. Here in the final of those quarterfinals, Misfits Academy go 1-0 up against their opponents M&M Gaming, and now looking to try and close things out about as quickly as you can. For M&M Gaming, this is their last chance, last hope, if they want to continue fighting for that semi-final position.
I think the big thing for me is this shows that Misfits, even without leader, are an extremely strong, improving roster, looking to get back on the winning premiership form.
I mean, excuse my language, but Misfits are playing some heckin' good League of Legends here, which I just think is...
It's a Christian stream. You can't do that.
At this moment, it's just scary because, you know, we've seen very clean performances from Enclave in Game 3 when they're a full roster. We've seen Excel fix their mistakes in Game 1 and 2 and show up very cleanly against Hyperion.
Of course, Excel Misfits' next opponents if they do win the game.
Absolutely, that's something to look forward to as well. But Misfits, they've just done it straight off the bat. They've just come into this game and said, right, well, we should win this game. We are the favorites here to do so, and we just do it.
And coming back on what M&M can do in response, they need to respond to the early aggression. They need to have their own, and they need to start making plays in the early game that they can then capitalize off, maybe find themselves more lane priority in the draft as well. Because certainly, because they'd locked the Poppy early, they guaranteed that their top lane was going to be countered. They decided that they wanted the counter in the mid lane instead, so that was fine. That counter didn't do enough in the early game to keep them in the game.
It seems like they realized halfway through the second ban phase, oh wait, there's 3 good counters to Poppy that are up, not 2.
Yeah.
And then they got caught out by the Nara. Honestly, like, it seemed to a point where I would actually preferred the Gangplank left up, because...
I'm not so sure, because yes, those Gnar ults were great.
Oh,
Gangplank wouldn't have even have to leave lane to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, no,
but at the same time, it's just there was never a 5v5 potential for them, and that's what they wanted to have.
Yeah,
that's what the draft was about.
Yeah, I didn't think Igloo even looked particularly strong in that losing matchup. There weren't any usage of the ultimate to turn fights around in any way. Just felt off for M&M Gaming. We're going to be heading into the picks and bans very, very shortly in about a couple of seconds' time. What do M&M need to change heading into this draft? What are the only things, you know...
If you're going to get priority, actually get priority.
Sure.
Early, from the second the game starts, you need that priority to allow your jungler any space, because Hades was constantly searching for some solace and wasn't finding it.
Yeah, no, and it was Misfits Academy, of course, rotating to make sure that didn't happen either. Really good stuff. You can see that the communication coming through from the team has been solid so far. Do you attempt to put Igloo into a carry matchup? I think you probably don't, especially with Red Side. You just kind of commit him to playing tank duty again.
It's likely the same pick for him. He'll probably just pick up the Poppy, hoping that he doesn't get hard countered in the top lane.
But then again, if he doesn't get hard counted in the top lane, what role is getting hard counted? And it's going to be mid lane. We saw Special putting decent numbers up in a hard counted matchup. How is he if you give him a decent matchup? How is he if you get him a matchup where he has any solo kill potential on Bro?
Scary. Absolutely frightening for the M&M Gaming roster, because draft-wise it wasn't the worst at all coming into that matchup. They had some winning elements.
Options. They had options had they not fallen behind.
And now they're on the blue side where they are potentially going to struggle to find those. The bans coming through seemingly going to be very similar as the previous ones here. We see that Rise and Azir again from M&M Gaming. The Aatrox comes through. Likely we get that Olaf and then the Akali, you would assume, as well.
His Rise is good, his Azir is good. What else is good?
I mean, potentially get rid of the Blanc. It's a fairly safe blind pick. Yeah.
Yep, it's the anti-perks right now. But taking that away, it's 3 bans mid.
You have to ban Talia here.
Everything else is up.
We're back to leader.
Yeah.
We're back to leader. Everything's being banned against them in the mid lane.
This is unfortunately what ends up happening when you end up seeing like an LCS caliber player, or a sub for that matter, play on a team when you just can't counter them. You end up seeing like 5 bans thrown at them and they'll still pull something out. It's just it's so hard to consistently shut down these level of players.
And you have to assume that when you are training in such a premier environment, that actually you train for that as well. Train to be completely counter-banned.
1v1 me, Sencut.
Absolutely.
I was absolutely expecting Hades to go towards the Gragas here. I think it's the smarter first pick, because I don't think Kindred was going to be the contested pick here, but Fair enough.
You need to have winning lanes for Kindred to be worth it, and we've already discussed how they're going to have at least one lane counted, and that's pretty much a near uncounterable lane in terms of you're not going to see a lane that dominates this. You can only see lanes that really go even with Varus, Braum, or unless you go something really strange like a Heimerdinger Fiddlesticks or a Brand, you're not really going to push this lane in consistently in an early game.
Varus and Braum locked in, like you mentioned. So Misfits Academy have shown their bot lane here.
Exactly,
Ooh,
they
something
need
bit
some
different.
lane priority.
Potentially like the Morgana as
Yeah,
well.
I think you have to go Morgana or Karma here. Karma, of course, with a synergy with Sivir. But at the same time, then again, you've got Kindred on her own on the front line with nobody to follow up. I said in the past you needed something like an Alistar. And I can imagine they'll go for the wave push matchup, but that still leaves Kindred on her own.
That's a Kindred support, actually. Terrible analysis,
You're taking a
guys.
leaf out of my
They're
book.
actually going to hold off on the support pick, see if they can get some of those things banned away. Interesting.
Okay, so the Camille is guaranteed top lane though, so that means that
And
they've
they do-
bought into that carry versus carry matchup.
Yep.
Unless we're seeing Camille support, which is actually something that has been played.
It's true. I mean, I would think it's awful into Braum.
Yeah.
That
Sounds
horrible.
terrible. It sounds like it sounds like a lane that makes you want to just alt F4 every single time you hook shot.
You might as well, because you're definitely dead if you do that. So
Yep.
we'll see. I expect that towards the top lane for Igloo. What this does mean is you get the counter pick top on your next pick, and then you get the counter pick mid too. So that is very dangerous for them here, for M&M. So I do question this early Camille pick, but
To be honest, Shikari could be quite happy playing Grux into Camille. To be honest, with the wave, with the lane clear that he actually has.
yeah.
On the Q, the W, it's definitely an ability to stop himself being pushed in consistently, and that will give him a matchup that at least goes fairly even. It loses out eventually, but you'll be in the team fight setup where you want a 5v5 by that point.
Do you Fiora into Camille and just go, nah, you're not dueling me?
Shikari could happily do that. I think Shikari's the caliber of player where you put him in a decent matchup against Igloo and he should win out.
Yep.
So I don't even think, because Fiora's a matchup that eventually wins but loses in the earlier game.
Yep.
I think you can pick something that wins early and loses late.
I would even argue that I think Fiora can still win the early. It's more of an even matchup at that point.
It's very jungle dependent at the same
Yes.
time. So any pressure top lane and you just
I would
use
still
out
like
of
to see the Fiora here, honestly. I think
I can
it's
understand
a
that.
great option available to them. You have a few others. You can stick to the likes of things you've gone before. With the Gnar and the Poppy gone away, you could see the Darius and things like that.
Oh, I'd like this.
Okay, I like that.
It's a split pushing top laner with arguably better late game than Camille. I'd say yes, he does.
Yeah, generally Jax beats Camille in the late game.
And he's still not got an awful team fight because he's got the ability to jump in and get a multi-man stun, stick to the backline. Obviously, he's quite tanky by that point, has the Grandmaster's Might to give him all those bonus tank stats as well.
I like it as well because you can then follow up early on some of the gank potential.
Yeah,
You can just quickly jump on with the
there's
stun
the
on Camille.
Alistar, yeah. That's what we said. We needed something to follow up with the Kindred on the front line. We said they had no tanks. In the last game, they only had the Poppy, and they needed to go for a tank support to really bolster that composition. Going for the Camille top lane, they've had to adapt. They've had to go for this tank support.
Oh, interesting. Okay. No, no way that comes through.
This would be Gangplank mid blind or Camille mid blind?
I don't think either is a particularly. I mean, Gangplank
This is-
mid
oh,
blind
wow.
is very dangerous.
I mean, there's a lot. He's got a lot of safe matchups all the same.
Yeah,
but
he's got a lot
into
of unsafe
special,
matchups.
yeah.
It's the bigger issue.
It's a weird duo to think. Okay, what I have to beat out one of them.
Pick Zed.
I mean, it's
Pick
gonna
anything
it's
that just
gonna be a
one-shots
Camille
them.
mid at this point.
Yeah.
You think? So you'd pick
I mean,
into the Camille more than
Honestly,
the
just go
gank.
Jax mid.
I think
Screw it.
Gangplank mid's
Screw it.
quite common. Gangplank mid's been played a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely.
It's
that
just
Gangplank-
over the years,
Growl plays Camille mid.
Around-
That's why I'm
yeah,
saying it.
Yeah. Around the time around season 6, especially, it was Gangplank had transitioned into the mid lane. It wasn't as safe in the top lane. He had a lot of safe matchups into control mage
Yes.
mid.
Oh no!
But-
I wanted to see Gragas in the mid lane. I wanted to relive the days.
Mid lane Gragas is okay now.
He's doing
Well,
his Shushay cosplay. Yeah, it's I still think Aurelia into Camille mid. That's actually a really nice matchup to see. It's an old top lane matchup, but seeing it mid lane, having the potential to outplay, and of course Camille being a much more playmaking mid laner, she has the potential to make roams happen if she does get an advantage. So it's definitely a situation where M&M, if they get advantages early, can snowball them.
Yeah, and like you touched on, this is something that Bro's comfortable on as well. So
Yep.
potentially that's what they're going for. As we said, this could well be M&M's last game in Forge of Champions. they're looking to make it a very close one at the very least.
I mean, when you're down but not out, maybe going a little bit cheesy is the way to do it, especially if it's a cheese strategy that you're somewhat comfortable with. It's not to say that we haven't seen unconventional mid laners at all this season. They are becoming the norm, and so the cheese smells a little bit less worse at this point. But
some prime quality Gouda.
Yeah, some prime quality Gouda. Not much AP at all on the side of M&M Gaming. Not really leaning into any of that there. Of course, you've got that Gragas, which I'm expecting likely goes towards the more damage route just to provide that threat.
Early game, you'll likely see the Runic Echoes. I would expect, especially with the Predator build, we've seen much more people lean towards Runic Echoes than the previous full tank Gragas. And then later on, probably doesn't need to help out in terms of damage. Jax, Aurelia, Varus provide plenty, so will likely lean towards the full tank, even going like a Knight's Vow, and then Gargoyle Stoneplate as well.
The UK scene evolving, that's all I'm going to say here. People are changing up the way the game is played, at least on the home ground. M&M Gaming, down a point.
0 magic damage, you gotta say, on any member. On M&M, it's very minimal.
Yeah, we were just... I think Dowsey just touched on that as well.
Yeah, I think so. Like, what it means, though, is the fact that Aurelia doesn't have to build any magic resistance, really. Jax doesn't have to build any magic resistance. It makes it that much easier for them to... Because we saw to the point where Aurelia had to go Wit's End last time we saw her. And now she's just going to be able to stack armor as she gets later into the game. It makes it that much easier for her to be a big frontliner when she's got those 3 core damage items to shred through people.
Yeah, and I now look at Jax as well, who also has the inbuilt armor in his ult, which you can use. So,
based on your AD as well.
It'll be interesting to see how that pays off, and I think specifically I'm now looking at Jax as this was effectively picked blind because they were using the Camille mid. I wonder if the Gangplank can stand up to it because this was picked into it specifically. It's a good matchup early, at least, for Gangplank, who can try punish Jack's low range.
So this is the thing. In the matchups like this where Gangplank would usually struggle, you normally go Grasp of the Undying because you want to try and at least survive the lane. In matchups where you would win anyway, you just go for Kleptomancy and try and maximize your gold output to be relevant as quickly as possible. So it's whether he chooses... I'm going to maximize my gold input because we're going to try and accelerate the game as best we can. We're going to try and make plays around the mid game and then snowball. Or if he goes Grasp of the Undying because he knows that this game could go late, I need to just survive lane, and then I don't need to worry so much about getting to the late game because I'll get there anyway.
Yeah, what I do like from M&M is what we talked about that they needed to adapt was more priority. What they did was they got themselves some bot lane push with the Sivir. They got themselves top lane effectively counterpick early on, at the very least, by flexing this Camille.
Yeah.
And the Camille still doesn't lose out that much early to the likes of an Aurelia. So it's now about how Misfits adapt that, and M&M have put themselves in a bit more of a driving seat early on.
It's definitely a lot better situation for the Kindred. The Kindred shouldn't be shut out as far. Kindred can do as well as to get 6 marks in 12 minutes, and she can do as poorly as to get 1 in 20. So if you get towards the 6 marks, that's where you start getting a lot of more attack speed out every time you Q. You get a lot more percentage health damage on your W and E. It makes it that much easier to be an effective carry and do the damage.
And even the bigger thing, you get extra range, which is super useful.
The extra range being the primary function of it. When you get, it takes 7 marks to get the plus 50 attack range, and it's plus 25 every time you get 4 marks, then 3 marks, then 4 beyond it.
Yeah, I was playing Nexus Splits and got myself 22 stacks. That was...
Yikes.
That was weird. You do not expect to have that range.
No, it's...
I run Rapid Fire Cannon. I think it goes up to like 850 range.
I tested it on the PBE before they nerfed it, because and they actually made it scale off and effectively have a cap. It starts becoming less and less effective, like movement speed. And I was standing pretty much on top of the inhibitor, hitting the Nexus towers. And it got pretty nutty. It got pretty nutty.
So... one thing that's worth talking about, since we're very fondly talking about Kindred here, is the fact that potentially for M&M they actually have some more lane priority in the mid and the top side now, coming into this early game especially. Now they can potentially make the moves around the map to get those Kindred marks and actually threaten Misfits, who had that lane priority the entirety of the last game. We'll have to see how that does play out, because we very shortly will be jumping...
What I would like to note is one of the weaknesses of Misfits was their early game before this. So it's about whether M&M can punish that now that they have more push priority.
Well, we are jumping on into this second matchup here as we dive through the map, showing off the camera work from the production team here at LVP UK. That's an owl, kind of.
I know I'm going to the survey now to just that filthy camera angle. Jesus, that was the mechanics somebody had to have to plot that.
I like it.
Oof.
Oof la boof.
That's
my thing.
One thing I wanted to say is
I want to make that a thing. I want everyone to be around the world just going oof la boof.
I don't think
it's going to catch on.
I don't think it's only even catch on.
Stop trying to make fetch happen, Dowsy.
Oof la boof. That is an oof la boof right there.
So I think that Kindred has much more gankable lanes than last game, where you see that like she had LeBlanc mid. Oh, it's easy just to dash away, and you have Gnar top. Again, you just bounce off of your minions that escape very easily. This time it's Jax, who obviously can escape, but Aurelia not as known for having escape priority.
Yeah. However, I don't think Special wants to really escape. I think he wants to go for hard trades, and it looks like he's taking that straight away, and not such a great trade early on.
Not at all. Vrao comes out on top heavily. The double corruption pot in the mid lane, well, it is going to be started to...
Oh, wow.
Oh, that was a lot of damage.
Joker gets completely taken down. Vrao,
but you know what that
means?
The
flash in the mid lane.
Shogun had to start headbutt.
Yeah.
That's the death for a lane early for Alistair. It means he can't trade effectively anymore. It means you lose priority. And what Chrisberg should be doing now is positioning as aggressively as possible to do exactly this. Chunk Jokerism low.
Yeah.
Thankfully, you're on a Sivir. You might be able to push this wave down a little bit quicker, try and survive a little bit in this matchup. But like you mentioned, that is huge lane advantage going over to the Misfits Academy here.
Shogun's still level 1 because he joined the wave late as well. This is particularly bad.
Yeah, and especially for a bot lane that you specifically drafted to have the push, this is not what you want to happen in the early.
At least across the board, Igloo is pushing in Shikari like a Gangplank should.
Yeah, there's the Grasp of the Undying as well that we mentioned. It's choosing to go for that lane survivability, not as much all-in potential from Shikari. Of course, the healing and the ability to get all that bonus HP from the procs. It's going to give him a lot more safety.
Afflict has made his way towards the bot side of the map as well. And it does look like any early marks that were available have been taken away from Hades as well. And you already mentioned in the previous game, he only managed to get 2 of them. Is moving towards this mid lane where there is no flash. Yep, Special's playing aggressively in this lane, trying to push it on in. Afflict is getting ready for the counter gank as well, moving towards the red side jungle. Let's see if they are able to pull it off. Stun used, but really good lane position coming from Special to make sure he was never in danger.
So Kindred won the level 1 coin flip, where basically, where does the scuttle spawn with the mark on it? Is it top or bot side? Where are you going? So it spawned on the top side, she got that first mark. Now the next one's on the Gromp, so it's a bit further away, but does have that first mark down crucially. That's already half of the amount of marks she ended the last game with.
I mean, a lot of that is because of the way
coming in for a gank mid lane.
Well.
Yeah, it's going to be Special completely overstepped. Ignite burning, red buff burning, and the auto attack seal the deal.
Oh, is he going to get out?
No, the red buff is expired. There's a blast going. Oh, there it is. First blood comes through.
He stopped moving to channel the W, and I think he actually might have been able to keep moving, barely keep out of range of that auto attack, and maybe get to the blast cone, but
I think it was
very
already
close
traveling
anyway.
when he started the W.
The Q was in the air.
Now, yeah, onto Shikari. There's the counter strike, and the ward jump gets away safely.
This is what we said, though. Much easier to gank lanes early.
Yeah.
Let's have a replay of that first blood coming on through for the side of Eminem.
Yeah, and you had the slow there, the good combo from Vrao. You can tell how comfortable he is on this Camille. And I think here it is. I don't think she stops to use the W. I think, look, it's already traveling before that W starts. So no way of cutting that distance towards the blast cone. And this is Eminem looking stronger in the early game. Misfits starting to show some of their slight weaknesses. Certainly Special not having the same easy lane that he had in that game 1.
Yeah, and impressively, even though Misfits did get that early advantage onto Jokerism, onto Shogun, they have not been able to execute off of it whatsoever. Of course, the fact that Jokerism is hard pushing the wave as Sivir has meant that he's gone down in CS. But there's no kills, no summoners burnt, nothing of the sort.
Yeah, and basically a top lane matchup in the mid lane as well. It's proving slightly difficult for them, and I think it was something that Icer touched on as well. Not much escapability from this Aurelia, especially when you burn your flash level 1. Left you very vulnerable to that kind of gank, and now's the dive top though.
Yeah, Counter-Strike dodged, but it doesn't matter. Igloo will go down. Teleport channeled coming through from Jokerism, was it?
I
It was.
believe it was. Yeah, that's the cancelled TP right there. So,
Potentially more scared of Vrao having teleport.
I actually think that would have been an easy kill for Jokerism, but I'm not sure he thought it was worth losing that. But the bot lane, but now
Another
it's actually
fight,
special.
yeah, Vrao. Here comes Afflict. Flash. Ooh, goes forward.
There it
Lovely
is.
stuff from Afflict. Finds it.
Okay, these trades going very back and forth. Now it's Hades in the mid lane as well. That's Red Smite down onto Afflict.
He wants it. Burning. Auto attack. Blocked by Prosper. Hades is in trouble, but picks up the kill regardless. In that 1 versus 3 somehow.
It's a shutdown onto Prosper, though. Not necessarily the person you wanted that gold on, so M&M doing okay in that regard, but it's still Misfits starting to turn around an early game that, you know, we somewhat questions. We thought Misfits, okay, are they starting to show signs of the previous Misfits that couldn't quite get anything going in the early game? No, they start getting these map movements off once again.
Yeah, no, they do. And potentially for Hades, it's worthwhile if that meant an early mark for him. Not entirely sure where they are being put down, but you can see the replay of this going down.
And what I love is that the hookshot was actually cancelled out by the Irelia E there, which is why Special took the trade. Not realizing, of course, that he still might lose it, because Vrao played it quite well, but Afflict comes in time to save it. And now it's Hades decides, I think Grags is the one I have marked. That's the kill I want. Flashes forward, gets the auto blocked by Prosper, still gets the mark in the end.
Yep.
So it is a 1-for-1, and the shutdown goes over to Braum.
Shutdown goes onto Prosper. As you mentioned, not the person that team will really want it, but Prosper will love it.
I mean, it's still a kill that
It's
you
still a
wouldn't have
kill.
done otherwise.
Absolutely. And at this point, Misfits have shown the weakness in the early game is
now
rough.
it's Alistair.
Alistair chained up, not level 6, has to flash. The stun comes through regardless. Jokerism trying to turn it around. The spell shield doesn't get proc, so no mana getting refunded.
Yeah, slightly mistimed spell shield there hurts him. Means that he ends up taking that little bit of chunk, but also, more importantly, he doesn't get that mana back. It will slow down some of the push that Jokerism is looking to have.
Yeah, already you're seeing the CS discrepancy between Chrisberg and Jokerism. Often the case with these AD carries that want a hard push, sometimes it just isn't enough. Shogun, he might get stuck up here. Auto attacks, oh wow, Shogun. He just loses his life to Chrisberg as if it was nothing.
And we did talk about Shogun and Jokerism as a potential weak link for M&M. We're seeing it here once again, Chrisberg and Prosper punishing.
Absolutely. Misfits are looking strong in their bot lane. Historically have had a quiet start to their games, but in recent times they're looking even more scary. Special, seemingly an advantage now over Vrao on this Irelia mid lane due to the ganking help coming through from Afflict. And M&M are starting to lose their early game leads unless Hades can shore things up. But look at the vision control around this mid lane. It is impossible for him to find a gank. Yeah,
and it is. You can actually see the mark come down to Special, so he knows to really have a quicker look at those wards as you expect Kindred to be jumping into the lane. Kindred has been spotted out now. And it is Shikari actually coming down just in case Kindred tries to go for anything continued. But instead it is just Hades realizing what's happening, using anything he can, just get a quick vision advantage.
Yeah, able to clear out those wards and is going to get that control ward. So it is 3 lots of wards disallowed here, taken out, cleared. It's net gain you would consider. Oh
Prosper's
my!
Here though.
This is a bait coming through from Special. Here's Prosper. Here is Afflict coming on in. Vrao gets deleted. That's an ultimate coming through. Kindred trying to survive, but she can't. Double for Special. Shogun in the midst of it all, make it a triple kill for this Irelia. Misfits are unstoppable, and in the top lane, it's Igloo running for his life.
That was beautifully played by Misfits. Afflict and Prosper hiding in the corner as well. It was responded to by M&M, but not in time. That is an Irelia that just got 3 kills. That was very slightly struggling the matchup. Now has complete control. Let's have a look at this again. I actually really like how Vrao played it at the start. You had a really good combo dodging out of a lot of what Special did. So you could see in came the ultimate to dodge out the stun and almost takes out Special. Instead, the exhaust comes down, the quick combo as well. And Hades gets taken solo. As soon as you leave this, you're guaranteed to be jumped on by Irelia. He knew that, but had nowhere else to go. And that's the triple.
At this point, it could just be Misfits getting to the position that they win this game outright. 7-2 and already a huge 4,000 gold lead for the Misfits Academy. Every lane winning at this point. Every lane ahead in farm. Even that jungle matchup, Afflict is dominating.
even that top lane matchup where you'd expect the Jax to start getting pushed in early has picked himself up a kill and a CS advantage.
It's insane. This is the Misfits Academy showing why they used to be one of the best in the UK, and when it matters the most, the playoffs of the Forge of Champions, they are stepping up once more. Jokerism teleports on top of Chrisberg, looking for a kill. It's going to be Prosfair targeted by Hades here. Ignite taking on Jokerism. Prosfair, though, manages to escape. Can Chrisberg do the same? Flash available, you'd think so. Flashes away, survives. Vrao wants the kill. The Flash gets it. That is going to be him finding it, but the rest of Misfits are here to clean up this fight. Vrao targeted. It is Hades turret diving to give Prosfair the kill, and Misfits 9-3.
Yeah, and Misfits, yes, they end up losing that bot lane trade, but they pick themselves up the dragon, they'll pick themselves up the objectives, and literally all M&M did was get a few kills and continue to lose.
A few kills, not even that, just one, I believe, at this point. Misfits are so far ahead, and now they're looking to try and take any objective damage onto these towers as well. Shogun showing a brave face, you can say, on this Alistar. Does have the ultimate available, that's for sure.
Yeah, now we're just going to see Misfits again dominating control earlier on than they had been in the previous Forge of Champions as well. Nice to see that they've adapted from there. They've seen some of the weaknesses they've had, and they've started to fix them.
Absolutely have. Coach Zen back from the Misfits Gaming House in Berlin. Now Special subbing on in for Lider, who is unavailable to play in the Forge of Champions or EU Masters. It's unfortunate, but Special is showing us why he's so dominant in the mid lane, and he is currently 3-1-2 with that 20 CS lead.
It's nice for Misfits now to get the reset. They've been able to just cover the complete enemy jungle in terms of vision. Going to be able to pick themselves up the Herald. They already have that dragon, so they can start moving some of the vision topside if they want, because they're just looking to take that last outer tower. Should be a nice easy take for them. Sometimes League of Legends by the numbers can be kind of relaxing in its own way.
Yeah, no, I think so. And it shows the dominant gameplay style that comes out when you can play this style as well. You know, potentially not as entertaining as the scrappy kills and fights that we sometimes get to witness, but certainly promising for the UK scene to see teams dominate in that way.
You can play.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what other countries sometimes do. But certainly I do think that Misfits are showing why they should be, of course, to reckon with the EU Masters, but now it's M&M jumping in.
Chrisberg in trouble. Prosfair trying to keep him alive. Times the kill before he goes down, though Prosfair will be targeted. Here's Special. Here's a flick. Here comes the engage. No, he doesn't go for it. The cask doesn't get thrown out. Maybe Misfits are respecting.
That was, I think they didn't realize that they didn't have the range to quite jump into that one, so a lot of flashes blown without the engage to follow up from Misfits, but now it is Special, just trying to 1v effectively 3, but now 2v3.
Yeah, this is a 2v3. It's going to be the Hextech ultimating on to Afflict. Shogun knocks Special away from the fight. Flicked under the tower. Can't get dove. Gonna go in Viz, and he is in trouble. Special. As he gets dove by Vrao, can he escape? Oh, Vrao just loses his life. Who doesn't even need to look at the explosion that was Vrao tower diving. 3 for nothing in that 3 versus 2. Misfits 13-4. Hades comes on into the top lane. Pretty much just decides that was a bad idea immediately. Shakari gets some damage onto Igloo, clearly going to cleanse that up. It is just trades across the board, and a 6,000 gold lead in favor of Misfits.
Yeah, we'll have a quick look at that once more. You can see how quickly this fight went down. You see, they turn into a 2v3. They immediately try run onto Afflict, but he splits them up with the explosive cask, and that allows Special to jump from person to person.
Jokerism left on the backline, not where you want to be as an AD carry against an Irelia. That's 1 kill. Shogun tries to help, and he immediately gets taken down. And
Vrao realizes that's done. Tries to pick up a kill onto Afflict. Can't quite do it. And that gave Afflict the confidence to pick himself up a Medjai's.
Oh, not
Once
again. 9 stacks on the Medjai's. Afflict, we've been here before. History repeating. Hopefully not this time for Misfits, you would feel.
I mean, history repeating isn't the worst. They still won that game.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, I think this is one of the games where if you're a top laner, you're just looking at your team's like, sorry guys, I haven't had the best lane. Oh, never mind. I guess my lane's going pretty well.
Here's Igloo. Afflict. The Chilling Smite. the cleanse, survives. The cask knocks him into the wall, not really where he wanted to go. But let us not forget there is literally 0 crystal magic damage coming through from the side of M&M. So this game just continuously gets worse and worse at this point because they are falling further and further behind.
Yeah, and Jokerism just trying to wave clear, trying to hold off what is the inevitable push coming out from Misfits, the inevitable fight they are prepared for. And now it is the Rift Herald in the bot side. Misfits seem a little scared to commit to it though. They are kind of leaving it. They know that the numbers could potentially be there for M&M.
I mean, they've already got the tower. They've broken the outer in that bot side. They don't need to force it down the throats of M&M. It's a little bit too risky. Now they're just continuously playing around this top side. It is going to be Shogun knocked up and channeled down. Jokerism takes a
Here's Special.
Arrow to the face. Special sets up. Can he find the stun? No, not able to just yet. But Shogun's still in lots of trouble. Here comes Special again to finish off the job. Vral's here. Kill does go over to Crossfair in the bot lane. Shikari's 1v2 against Igloo, against Hades. Igloo might just go down the stopwatch to survive. Shikari has to turn around onto Hades, and I don't think it's going to happen. Shutdown gold onto Hades is found. And a top lane tower to break the outer ring for Misfits.
But a lot of this is, yes, they might get a kill, but the big issue is they're still losing objective-wise. There's no objective they can really secure with that. They're going to try turn it into the dragon, but Afflict's already there.
That teleport coming through as well. Into that bot side is going to be Jokerism making his way towards that Infernal Drake. The rest of Misfits are looking to contest it.
Yeah, it's an Infernal Drake they should be able to pick up. They have Special nearby who can probably kill literally anyone who shows up. So it is on M&M to try play around that, and all Misfits are doing is they're just slowing it down. They know once they get the numbers there, they are still in a very commanding lead.
Can Irelia kill Gangplank?
Yes.
Kindred.
You know, you can go through them all, and I'm going to say yes, because we've seen how Irelia can take out Alistair.
That's literally anyone.
The tankiest member. Literally anyone aside from her own team, I guess.
There you go. So figuratively everyone is what you meant to say, because it can't take out Varus.
You know, I mean, you could kind of bait him in. I can see it. You could bait in your own team, and then you can kill literally everyone.
There you go. Pro strats here. Misfits, if you need a new coach or analyst, if Zen's not fulfilling your needs.
Clearly he is, though.
Celtic Tiger's available.
Clearly he's doing a great job that I don't think I can match, because this is a very strong Misfits. Definitely back on Premiership form. Now looking to take some of that Forge of Champions 4, some of those Forge of Champions 4 weaknesses, learn from those, and bring out a nigh unstoppable movement.
Absolutely. 18.5 minutes, and we're almost at that 10,000 gold lead that Misfits are looking for here. The 3 towers down, and Igloo, well, he's struggling against this Jax, constantly being pushed on in, constantly not being able to join the team fights. It's been a good matchup. Like, Igloo's up on farm, hasn't died that much. He's not been performing terribly, but when Misfits have the entire map priority coming through, there's just nothing that he can do about it. They're attempting to. Hades is moving on in, looking to try and take Shikari down. He has a tower, remember, so I don't see this going too well for the side of M&M. They do charge forward, and then they remember that the tower's there and go, oh, we can't do that.
Yeah, the wave giving him something to jump to as well, so he doesn't even have to ward jump. Nice and easy escape for Shikari. They know 2 people are there from Misfits, so they can continue pushing up the other lanes. And the top lane as well that I'm actually focused on, because I think Special could well go for a kill move very shortly.
Yeah, with Afflict lurking, Vral has to be very careful, and here it comes. Hook shot comes through. He gets disarmed. Shogun will provide some relief. Vral takes a lot of damage. The stun under the tower. Jokerism charging. They're trying to take down Special. I don't think they can. Prosper's here to help on out, as is Chrisberg. And Misfits will walk away.
Yep, not the ideal play they want, but certainly still fine for them. Gangplank was forced up as well, so you now have, again, Shikari pushing in the bot side. Varusol just misses though, and that is bad for Misfits.
Missteps, that's going to be Special shut down. A misstep from Misfits as the Baron spawns nonetheless. Hades charging on forward, looking for Prosper damage on it. Sivir's ultimate is down. Vrao right over the wall into 3. That was not the move he was looking for, but kept alive by Hades. M&M, can they turn this around in their favor? Chris Berg fighting the damage. 1 kill, 2 kills for the Varus, and that will shut this one down. Here comes the teleport, cancelled by Igloo. Misfits able to completely shut that down. Vrao just too aggressive.
And this will give them enough health, just enough time to turn around onto this Baron. They have the damage with on-hit Varus. Sivir on the side. They can turn on her if she walks any closer than that, and that is Sivir out of mana too. There's the spell shield, gives her a bit more, and now it's Igloo here trying to shut them down. They'll probably have to peel off now.
Yeah, they will have to. Gangplank ult coming up soon as well. Nothing you want to fight in. Misfits Academy, well, they show a slight sign of weakness, but then immediately the bricks are relayed into the foundation of the team, and now they reset the game.
Still looking at about a 6k gold lead, 7k even, coming out from Misfits, so still very dominant, still can just regain control over that Baron area and start looking at that and then continuing the push. Seen that their split push is very effective, already very much online with Jax. Can't quite kill the Gangplank, but certainly can pressure him away.
M&M, they need to try and find that small sign of hope. Special on the top side, ready to go in onto Vrao. Vrao escapes for now. There comes the ultimate. Disarmed comes through. Special just chunking down this Camille. And the 1v1 will go Special's way. With the mid laner down, Misfits can move into the jungle, take all the vision control, and threaten the entire map.
Yeah, and they're looking to push in top side, and is going back to what they were previously doing as well, trying to push in the mid, trying to push in all 3 waves with this 2-2-1 setup, with Gragas kind of floating between them, even though I did include him in the top side numbers there. And you're seeing now he's prepared to jump on anyone who goes to deal with Aurelia. They expect it's just her up there. Instead, it is Gragas waiting in the wings.
Waiting in the wings, that's correct. Tower goes down, 3 members potentially coming forward. Was that a... Did I see a teleport onto the tower, or am I imagining things? I'm imagining things. I'm going crazy.
If you're imagining things, they're still on cooldown,
yeah.
So it would be unlikely at the very best of times. And then it is
impossible.
Shogun here.
Chris
who
Berg
is caught out entirely.
Holy moly, Crossbear, that is just shuts him down. Here's Igloo, potentially also caught on the wrong side of history. Hades moving towards the enemy jungler, but Afflict just escapes it instantly.
I actually want to come back to your eyesight. Apparently it's not too bad. I think apparently Shikari cancelled a TP. I think you did see a very quick TP potentially coming in.
There you go.
You are not crazy. Nope. Or at least in that regard.
In that regard, I'm not. Hades survives, or keeps Jokerism alive, but will go down himself, you think. Yeah, that's 2 kills coming forward. Igloo wants to find the turnaround. Does shut down that AD carry in Chris Berg.
No, save the Magi stacks.
Save the Magi. Just about.
Oh no,
no!
There it goes.
No! 17 becomes 7. It's the greatest betrayal in anime history.
But now it's the stun onto Rao, who actually gets the knockback as well there. So might be able to survive this. Shikari's on the other side, but so is Shogun. Should be able to save the Camille, who gets away with that. Whew. That is a shutdown on those Magi stacks. That is the real loss for Misfits. They can't go away
Game's
happy.
over. FF. We're at 20 minutes. Game 3. Let's go into it. I mean...
And you know what? I am seeing something that is familiar from last game, though.
Yep.
And that is a mark spawning in Scuttle. That means that it is less than 3 marks for Kindred once again at this stage of the game.
Which begs the question, what is this Kindred priority from Hades?
I mean, clearly he knows how to play it. He's a good Kindred, but certainly I think it's the map play and M&M as a whole not quite finding the mark.
Yeah. We're not quite finding the mark indeed.
Hey. Only 2 marks, in fact.
Hi, Mark.
Agreed. But I think, looking at this now, you're seeing the full AP Gragas. Afflict has the freedom to go with this aggressive build because of the way the game's playing out. Can just join his team and trying to burst out these members from M&M, who have shown signs of life.
Yes.
In fairness, I do think Vrao especially has had very good game in this Camille.
Yep.
Even though you of course saw the Aurelia being the one getting very far ahead, It wasn't necessarily off Vrau's poor play. I think it was good map play from Misfits that put Aurelia in that position.
And now Vrau's kind of just forced to be that engaged tool, even if it means his death, to try and give MNM any chance of coming back. But considering you are 9,000 gold behind, you are 100% staying in this game at this point as MNM, which is all you need to find out. Look at the gold differences, though. In that mid lane, it's 3,000. Disgusting. In that bot lane, it's also 3,000. The only lane that's winning is top lane for MNM. Igloo staying ahead.
Yeah, that's not exactly what they need right now, though. The Gangplank clearly not able to carry against the rest of Misfits, who are now running their way up top. You had the Predator popped there from Flick. They were seeing if they could catch anyone out. But MNM smartly just start moving back, and this gives them, again, more control over this Baron area. It's a lot of deep vision they have. They could start this up.
Straight up onto the Baron they go. Special is zoning the entirety of the jungle. Sakari in the mid lane making sure that MNM are caught on up, and this Baron goes down very quickly, and MNM will be too late to contest it. Smite it away. MNM, do they go for the fight is the question. The Gangplank ultimate does catch Afflict on the backside.
Can I almost want a replay of that, because I saw a 30 HP bar while a Gangplank ult was going down. That was very dangerous.
He didn't even smite. That was the thing. There was no smite.
There was a smite.
Was there a smite?
Yeah, I guess it must be. Yeah, let's have a quick look at it again. I want to see the smite come down towards the end here. That was so close. Where is it? What actually ends up taking it too? As you can see, the smite, yeah, it goes to 30. I think the smite actually takes it at 30 potentially.
The Gangplank was late, so it wasn't going to contest it.
I think it was the E from Varus actually might have chunked it out so heavily to 30 HP.
So essentially what you're saying is that Gangplank ult was a split second earlier, then you may have had a Baron on MNM's side.
Yeah, that would have been very sad for Misfits.
Here we go, the play. They're looking to catch them all up. Crossfair tries to disengage, but that is Chrisberg dead. A Flick being chased over the wall by Hades, and that's going to be him going down as well. Medjai's gone. Goodbye. 2 kills for MNM, stopping this Baron play.
Yeah, they do have the sideways pushing in, but I like it from MNM. They go for the really aggressive death push, pick people off. Smart, especially now that you have this really strong Camille to play with.
Shikari will take down this inhibitor tower before escaping, and of course Special is going to escape as well, but here it is, that death bush out of vision due to that control ward.
Yeah, and almost baiting them forward, knowing that that's available. You have huge control around walls, and of course Sivir move speed as well. You just run them straight through, and they just chunk out Chrisberg so quickly as well that it's just over from this point.
Flick just wasn't able to disengage with the cask. Too late. We do have a pause heading on into live, so let's watch this kill in super slow motion. The body slam hits the Raptor before hitting anything else, which means Hades was very free to take that, and Vrau would have had it regardless.
Oh, and Hades had the mark on Aurelia as well, so it doesn't even get a stack off all that though.
Oh no, his third stack.
Unfortunate.
Rough.
That was what the comeback needs.
Yeah.
Them kindred stacks.
Kindred stacks would help. Of course, because of the pause, let's watch this. Tower
I kind of like
down.
this angle though. Ooh.
Fancy.
Spinning on the minion. Actually, that's a really cool skin as well. We haven't talked about that. God Staff, Jax.
Skins win games.
Apparently.
That's
Mafia Braum is broken. Confirmed.
Yeah. No, Prosphere is flexing on them. Oddly.
3-0-11.
As far as the tweet is concerned.
3-0-11 though.
3-0-11.
He should be building the Medjais.
Yeah, no, it's worth talking about. Afflict has lost his Magi stacks again.
Yeah, down to 0.
Whoopsie-daisy.
He is literally afflicted.
Oof la boof.
Literally afflicted, unfortunately, there. So now it is. Gonna go back to a replay of an earlier fight as well. This one was really close to Chrisberg just going down. He does eventually to Igloo, but not before getting the double kill there.
Yeah. Igloo's able to get that kill. This was when we...
the first denial of Medjai's stats.
Well, no, it was. Yeah, because they get the
runs on
Rao ultimate. Yep. It was the first oof la boof. If I say it enough, it catches on, right?
That is almost the opposite of what will happen.
Oof la boof is actually French for yikes, by the way.
I believe it's probably just minorly offensive to the French. I guess that's probably your best argument for getting it to catch on in the UK.
You said it.
See though, I just don't see it. I think big ol' yikers has a better chance of catching on.
Twitch chat, big old yikers or oofla boof? I want to vote. And whilst you're voting, you can vote in the survey as
throw
well.
it in the survey under other. I voted for oofla boof.
Yeah, exactly. This is the kind of feedback that the LVP UK are looking for. Here's that 1v1 by Special against Rao earlier on this game.
I think Rao managed to escape this at the start. Kind of quickly jumped out, but all Special did then was just jump forward, ult, quickly do this. The biggest mistake from Rao here is he accidentally walks into the side, and that means he can't even return any damage whatsoever because he's disarmed. And then down goes Camille.
A comment here says that big old yikes wins, and the other one deserves to be punched in the lower region. So that's a bit harsh.
You know what?
I don't want to.
You're right, Twitch chat. You are 100% correct, Twitch chat. That is how we will spend our evening, with Dowsy and fear, because I will do it at some point.
Oofla poof.
God. Yeah, maybe sooner than then. We'll see how we're doing, but we are finally back into game between M&M and Misfits. Here it is.
Here it is. Misfits up by 10 kills, up by 10,000 gold. And another pause coming through. Rip. Whatever the issue was, clearly not resolved. Igloo does leave the game, so it was M&M struggling here with their top lane. And one of the only win conditions they have, the only lane that's winning in gold.
Yeah, I don't think it's a win condition as such, though, because I don't think Gangplank is enough to fight 5 other members.
Well, I mean, Gangplank gets the passive gold generation anyway, so the fact that he's killed about 50% of the minions with his Q means that he's probably earned about 500-600 passive gold, which is his entire gold lead, meaning he's been going even at best with the Jax.
Mm-hmm.
But that is pretty decent. Igloo, I mean, against Shikari, that's a win on my book.
It's a moral victory. Definitely not a game victory.
When you lane swap
one.
Jax into a long lane where basically he can't do anything to Gangplank because he just pushes up too far and gets caught out, or Gangplank just sits under tower the entire time, and he's cleaning up CS really easily and getting all that passive gold. So it just seems fairly easy for Igloo at this moment.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a strange game, but realistically it's Misfits that have been in complete control. M&M not 100% on how they want to respond. I like that they set up the Death Rush. I like that they're still showing signs of life, but at the end it is still Misfits who've maintained control all game, still looking at close to a 10k gold lead.
Drow chasing Special down, has the rest of the team here. Prospect in attendance as well. Look at Shikari on the top side, going to be uncontested on this inhibitor for some time.
Yeah, I imagine they're going to send him down now. The wave is starting to come in on the top side. They do send multiple people over there. So now it's Misfits trying to use that pressure to take the mid tower. This is fairly standard league, but if they can catch out Shikari, it might help them.
Hades going to start doing the damage on this Kindred. Shikari and the Gangplank, will lose his life here. And Special's being held off on the bot side as well by Jokerism and Shogism. So it does mean the only loss is that outer tower in the mid lane, which you expected to go down at some point regardless.
Why do you Google Translate up, Dowsy?
I'm Googling oofla boof.
It depends how you spell it. I mean, technically, if you go oof, that's egg, and then obviously le boeuf is quite well known as the beef.
Yeah,
so it could be egg the beef.
Egg the beef.
Otherwise, I mean, I don't think oof isn't how you pronounce it though.
Or
maybe that's a colloquialism.
Or yikers.
Big ol' yikers.
In certain dialects. So I hear.
Big ol' yikers is Swahili.
Is it?
Yes.
For what?
Big ol' yikers. It translates almost directly.
I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
I like my egg and beef. I think I had some earlier today. I did, in fact. We did.
Yeah,
At,
it was udon.
Udon restaurant.
Yeah.
Very nice. What was it?
It was a katsu, which was not a katsu.
Don katsu.
I mean, see, when I read katsu, I was assuming katsu curry, and I did not get that, so there was at least minor disappointment on my end.
Maybe we need to Google Translate what katsu means so we can live our best weeb life.
Potentially. On the other side now, we are seeing Misfits reset once more. M&M, with their aggressive plays, have actually forced Misfits a lot further back than you would expect, given how far they are ahead. Because they're just so wary of the fact that M&M could set up these death brushes and execute on them so quickly.
Yeah, no, definitely. M&M have held off this game that's felt so dominant in Misfits' position for 30 minutes here now. A testament to their ability, a testament to Hades' damage, and the pick potential as Sivir offers. We haven't seen Sivir for a little while.
Yeah. She's around. 3 out of Spike, in fairness, as well. So Sivir starting to pump out that damage in the middle of a fight as well.
Uh-oh.
Now it is M&M looking for the pick onto Special. Can they find it? 2v3 once again.
Level damage, Afflict, knocks Jokerism in. Jokerism escapes for now. Shogun left on the wrong side of this team fight gets dove upon. But here comes the rest of M&M to try and turn this one around. Proud, no, it's a Shikari double kill. It's going to be Jokerism running for his life as Chrisberg takes down Igloo. Jokerism, can he survive is the question. No, triple kill for this Jax. Hades slowed down. Hades stunned up in that Lamb's respite. Can it be the quadra kill for Shikari? Nah. Yeah, it is, in fact. Quadra kill Jax. Misfits break the game open finally at this 31-minute mark, and with this victory over M&M Gaming, they lock in their position to go to the semi-finals hosted here in Barcelona in the Forge of Champions.
And the cleanest quarterfinal we have seen so far.
Absolutely.
Definitely from Misfits. They look dominant, and a team that's actually seated ahead of Barrage and Hyperion, they managed to get the very clean 2-0.
Absolutely impressive stuff from Misfits Academy. Potentially now the favorites.
I think if you're M&M after that game, like you really tried. You came out with a composition that was trying to do something different. You tried to get lane advantage, and I mean, I'm not sure how well you can see this, but it's just big ol' yikers, pretty much.
Big ol' yikers.
That's the best way you can put it.
It is not ooflaboof, because that is horrendous.
I mean, it's yeah, they didn't egg any beef in that game. It was really just a big ol' yikers the entire game long.
Beef with that Alistar.
But I mean, like, he was objectively wrong because he wasn't using Mukau Alistar from the start. So,
that is,
like, we talked about Mafia Braum.
Winning games.
So the support matchup was a complete mismatch if we talk about it, and then the top lane Godstaff Jax is just better than the Gangplank skin that was being used as well. It was a complete mismatch across the board.
Was that a Captain Gangplank? Was it the
yeah, Captain Gangplank's pretty standard. So
literally got it for free.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a complete mismatch across the board.
I actually didn't.
M&M had no chance
because I was an idiot and didn't play the event.
You didn't buy. It wasn't even an event. It was like, hey, if you play Gangplank over the next 3 weeks, we'll
I'm
just
pretty
give
sure
you
I did it.
If you played Gangplank any time between the point where he was reworked and he died.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I didn't do it, and then the skin comes out. I'm like, what the heck am I doing?
I had a friend who asked me to like to make sure that he got it. So he gave me like he made sure like, okay, yeah, you've got to make sure you play with me on all these 6 different accounts in a row because I need to get it on every single account. We ended up spending the entire day just making sure he had Captain Gangplank.
Yeah, but remember, Riot actually removed a lot of the free skins now just there as well.
Yeah.
At the start of August.
So Riot go Tristana.
Yeah, Unchained Alistar is gone as well, and Dread Knight Garen. I have Rugged Garen though, so don't need that.
But all the same, like we've tailed off, but
yeah. Slightly.
Misfits were very dominant in that game.
Yeah.
They looked very dominant in Forge of Champions 4 as well, and they've continued that, improved upon that, you could definitely say. And Special, he's proven that he can step into the shoes that Leader left, and he can be a leader for the roster. Shikari, of course, being a carry in that last game, even though he didn't really step up and dominate lane throughout all of the first game, the fact that he showed up in team fights and then like got that quadra kill at the end, and his performance on Gnar, definitely indicative of how much he's stepped up, especially if you look at the performance at the last EU Masters and compare it to where he is now, he's come a long way.
And Chrisberg and Prosper, safe to say as well, starting to dominate their lanes as well in the early game, not just being that late game assurance for the team. This
time it wasn't so much off of the jungle, it was off of their own backs, and they earned that. They earned that gold lead.
Really fantastic stuff coming through from the Misfits Academy, who do win that quarterfinal, the most clean quarterfinal we've had so far. A solid 2-0 from the Misfits Academy, and now they will be looking forward to the potential updated bracket where they will, I think, play XL.
They should be playing XL.
We will wait for it though. Get the visual. We also have an endgame interview coming up with Misfits Academy as well, so lots of things still to talk about, especially considering, you know, we haven't really seen this this dominance from Misfits Academy for quite some time. It's nice to see it again here in the playoffs. Shikari is ready for an interview, so let's jump on into it and say hello to Misfit Academy's top laner. Shikari, congratulations on the win here in the quarterfinals. How are you feeling?
Okay. A little bit disappointed in my performance last game, but otherwise I'm okay.
I mean, at least you closed it out quite well, getting that quadra kill.
Is that all it is? You didn't get the penta?
I think I played really bad. like I was really surprised by the Camille mids. Usually I'm not really
Yeah.
comfortable on Jax. I just play Jax as a counter pick into Camille,
Mhm.
and when they flexed the Camille mid, I was really caught off guard. So I think I struggled a bit this game because of that.
Okay. I can definitely understand with the range matchup that Gangplank has with just spamming out Grasp of the Undying Qs. That definitely gives him a lot of lane priority. But how would you say that you felt after your game 1 performance? Because it looked to me like you dominated your lane. You were able to put a lot of pressure down. Do you feel better about that game performance at least?
Drop it.
No worries.
Yeah, game 1 was a lot better. I had Gnar into Poppy, which is a really easy matchup. Like obviously the Gnar has pressure basically at all points in the game, and I think I communicated with my jungler really well. Like when we could dive Poppy, like I just said like, hey, I've got lane priority. I've got my rage bar. Let's dive this guy, and we just dove him, and we did that quite a few times, and I was happy with the performance.
Yeah, no, it definitely looks strong, and I mean, I'm assuming you've at least watched or seen the results from the other quarterfinals. This certainly was the most dominant quarterfinal that we've had so far. How do you feel that rates your chances moving forward in the tournament to the semi-finals?
I think Enclave is probably like the team I'm most scared of. We're playing XL next. They've looked really shaky, but for some reason they're really good. Like when they're losing, like it doesn't really make sense. Like they lose 2 games, and then the last game they play really well. So I'm not too nervous, but you can never let your guard down versus XL because they always reverse sweep for some reason. I don't know why.
Thankfully, you'll meet them in the semi-finals where it's a best of 3 rather than a best of 5. Not quite XL territory there. You guys have had a bit of a change up this season. First, playing with Kenzuki, then you bring Lider into the roster. Unfortunately, you have to switch Lider out, but you get Special back from the main roster. Overall, how are you feeling about the changes for the team?
Obviously, it's a bit unfortunate that like we had Leader and we had to change him out, but I think like the main 4-man roster, like me, Afflict, Chrisberg, and Prosper, like we've played a Special before, and Special like played us before. He knows like how we are. Like so, the change wasn't that impactful. I think we just needed some like if there's a dominant. We just need a dominant mid laner, like for example, like Leader's like really mechanically good. Like in the mid lane, he'll just say like, "This guy's trolling, just like come in and kill him." But Special's like more macro oriented and like more knowledgeable. And we just needed someone to like command us what to do, because I think the 4-man is like quite supportive. Like we're all supportive players, I'd say, and we just needed like somebody to kind of take the lead.
So yeah, communication being the big thing there for the team. But now focus more on the solo play. A lot of people have rated kind of you and Rifty up there in terms of the UK top laners. What about Sendo now coming into this? Because a lot of people have put him like just below you two. Do you think, potentially he's up there with you guys, or do you think you'll have a fairly easy lane coming into your XL matchup?
I respect Sendo, but I feel like I get this weird impression from him that like he tries to play like every single champion, and he's like, oh, okay, this matchup's great, like I'll pick this champion, and he's only played like a few games of it. Like there's quite a few times where his builds are like quite bad and the runes he takes are bad, and like I think he's a good player, but it feels like he'll just pick any champion, like even if he hasn't had many games on it. Like I think he's a good player, but sometimes he picks champions he's not so good with.
I'm not master of none.
Yeah, like I respect Sendo, but I think he should focus his champion pool a little bit more.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. I've seen the bikes in the background. Is that a hobby for you? Are you a bit of a mountain bike enthusiast?
I just bought these recently.
He's flipping them.
I'm not much of a biker, but I live in a village and the roads are very quiet, so...
As a connoisseur yourself, though, as a last question, I want to ask you, what is objectively the best Poppy skin?
Scarlet Hammer.
Okay, okay. I'm I'm more of a Snowthorn Poppy fan myself.
I could see you were really expecting one answer.
I was expecting one answer, but Scarlet Hammer I think was probably the best before the rework because it was one of the few skins that didn't look awful in the splash.
Before the rework, it was always Lollipoppy. Then they reworked it to be less terrifying, and then that come through.
I mean, Scarlet Hammer's pretty decent. I'll give him that. It's the second best one at least.
Yeah.
I mean, now you've just completely lost all authority as a caster because you don't. You ask silly questions like these.
You've exposed me.
And then you get them wrong.
You've exposed me.
It's been beautiful talking to you here, Shikari. Hope you're looking forward to coming out to Barcelona in a fortnight for these semi-finals and finals. Misfits Academy performing so strong so far in the Forge Champions have really shored up their weaknesses and potentially the favourites to win it all. So good luck in your preparation and thanks for talking to us.
Congratulations.
Good luck, man.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. So that rounds it out. I'm sure we have a bracket coming up very shortly so that we can start to tease those semi-final matchups coming forward. But with Misfits Academy winning today, with Diabolus winning as well, and then earlier on in the week we had XL take the lead, as well as Enclave. Our semi-finals have been locked in. First up, Enclave Gaming will play Diabolus Esports in that semi-final best of 3 live from the studios in Barcelona. All the players out here to have a good time. And then XL will take on the Misfits Academy. Both these matchups have history. Both these matchups have history that's flip-flopped as well.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting to round out the Forge of Champions with some fantastic semi-finals.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to that Enclave Diabolus rivalry as well. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the semi-final.
Oh, looks like we actually do have a player interview coming through from Diabolus, I believe. So we can kick that one off as well very shortly. I did miss who the player would be, so I will get that back in my ear at some point. But we did miss out on a player interview earlier, so it would be nice to talk to them, and especially about the fact that, you know, they have found their success again.
Yeah.
They have really ramped it back up.
We talked about how Flaxish stepped up, and especially with Rift on the horizon, you need to step up in the top lane. You need to prove that you can step up. We talked about a top 3. Flaxish wasn't even in that top 3, so now trying to compete with the rest.
Cool. Okay. So we do, I believe it's M-Test was what I was hearing, coming for the player interview in just a second here. Looking forward to talking. How are you doing?
Hey guys. I mean, I'm doing fine. Thank you. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing well. We're fantastic. Congratulations on your win here.
Yeah, thank you.
Coming into the team at such short notice, it must have been a bit of almost like a panic room in the you know, coming into the playoffs. You have to find your synergy with Amphrax, with the rest of the team, and try and find the win here in the playoffs.
I mean, actually, with Anthrax, I've been like duo with him. I know him since before, and I met him before at LAN. But so with him, my synergy was kind of natural, but obviously we were kind of stressed because we didn't have much practice time as the other teams, and you know, you have to you have to fit well with the team and know your role and know what you want to focus on. But we got actually a lot of help from our coach Bloom again, who helped us out a lot. So it worked out in the end. Like the win wasn't pretty, but now we bought some time for ourselves, so now we can finally focus for real.
Yeah, that's really important that you mentioned. You know, Bloomingen comes in as coach for Diabolus, kind of gives you the direction you need to face up against Wind and Rain. And like you say, you buy at least a week and a bit to now prepare for that Enclave matchup. Obviously, you weren't on the roster for Diabolus when Diabolus last did play against Enclave, but that was a victory for Enclave back in, for Diabolus, sorry, back in the first qualifying tournament. You've had a chance to kind of look at Enclave now and the hot streak they've been on. Do you have any thoughts about how that semi-final matchup may go?
I mean, I always like to say that if you're not confident in yourself, then you cannot do anything right. So I mean, obviously, I think we will go the distance and make a clean victory, because once now we get to like practice for real and really look down on, like, triple down on our strength, we will come out on top for sure.
Yeah, no, certainly. M-Test, Bloomigen's only just come onto the team, I believe. Maybe you can confirm when he started working with Diabolus, but what would you say he offers to the roster, and you know, what kind of things is he doing with the team to really prepare you guys for this playoffs?
For confirmation, he only started to coach us like 2 or 3 days ago, and that was kind of when me and Bolulu joined the team as well. So not very long at all, but he has been really helping us out with like to focus more on the macro style play and not go for like the 50-50 plays and just play safe, because if we if you just use our macro, then we can win for sure, because the other teams are not they're not as macro based, I would say.
No, I think that's fair, and Diabolus definitely come into each game with a game plan. How do you kind of respond to that game plan always being somewhat the same? A lot of top lane focus onto Flaxish from NG. Do you feel like there's more up the sleeves that Bloomingen and the rest of your team now can start to develop?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, we are not a one-dimensional team for sure, but playing on flashes was really like beneficial, at least for this series, because we know that if he gets a lead, he can do a lot with it. So we just decided to give him a lot of pressure on his lane, and I mean, it turned out really well, so it was good for us.
So looking forward, then, is there any specific teams in the UK? You're saying a lot of them aren't particularly macro based. Is there any specific teams you might call out as one that you're most worried coming up against?
I mean, to clarify that point, we were not today. We were not. Our macro was definitely not good. I'm just saying what we can be in the nearest future.
Absolutely.
But from what I've been seeing, I mean, honestly, I haven't been to be completely honest with you, I haven't been following the UK scene until recently because I didn't know that I would play. But I think from just looking at the rosters and a bit of their play, I think Misfits are looking the strongest. But also they, to be fair, they had I would say the easiest quarterfinal as well. So I mean, maybe I'm biased, but we will see.
Interesting.
I think it's interesting how many resources we saw put on you as well, on a team that's traditionally played so much around Flaxish, putting the Lulu support and the Galio support and of course Tom Kench and all these resources into the new member. How did it feel to like have Balulu, for example, put so much emphasis into keeping you alive in those games? How comfortable did you feel with all the resources the team had put onto you as an investment?
I mean, actually, the first game I was a bit shaky, I'm not gonna lie. But once we got out, and they threw the curveball at us with the Velcro support. I had no idea that we were gonna play that. So we got really far behind the lane. I was like 20 stairs down, I think, or something.
Yeah.
And I was, I mean, I was not useless, but I was definitely behind the Varus. But once Ash hits like 2 or 3 items, and we have Ardent on Lula, I can basically just frontline. And I mean, you saw that I dealt a lot of damage, but actually it was just like I could free hit them all because they had to focus our 1v9 carry Fluxy, so I could like they had no they could never kill me because they had to deal with Fluxy, otherwise I would just one shot the Varus every single time, which he pretty much did. So it was, I mean, it was fine, but I was just hitting frontline this game, and it was obviously I feel confident when I have a Lulu with me that I can just basically frontline and kill everyone if the situation appears.
Yeah, no, it looked really good with yourself and Balulu coming on to Diabolus. It gave you that extra necessary win conditions in the team fights. If Flaxish is doing what we know he can in the top side, then you can, be having the time of your life as a marksman in that bot side and just dishing out the free damage. Is Balulu someone that you've known as well from before your play on Diabolus?
Actually, I didn't even. Apparently, he's Swedish as well.
Yep.
I didn't even know that. I thought he was. I thought it was Russian or something. I don't know why,
okay.
but just the name Bolulu sounds. I don't know why actually, but I mean, I play with him in solo queue, obviously, but I never spoken to him. But he's a really nice guy, and he knows his limit, especially on the Galio that we saw play. He had a lot of pressure too, so I think he's a good all-around player, and he knows what he can do with his lead, and he also knows how to play safe. And we're playing on another side of the map, so he's doing really well so far.
As a Mancunian caster myself, and with Diabolus being based in Manchester, Diabolus was always one of the teams that I was always looking forward to seeing to do well. And after tonight's performance, I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys in Barcelona in a fortnight for the semi-finals. Wish you all the best in your preparation. Now that you've got you guys through the hard stage of the quarterfinals, with just 72 hours to prepare, you now get a bit of breathing room in a week, and hopefully it's enough to come at Enclave with all you have.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be. So, all right, thank you guys very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You too.
That was M-Test from Diabolus, the marksman after their victory over Wind and Rain 2-0, another very dominant quarterfinal, you have to say. We now have everything rounded out here in the Forge of Champions for this online playoff stage. Everything from now on is live from the studios here in Barcelona in a fortnight's time, the 5th and the 6th of September on the same channel here. You can watch it live. We'll have our semi-finals on that Wednesday. And then, of course, the grand finals will be on the Thursday. It is shaping up to be a pretty exciting first Forge of Champions here in the UK and Ireland. Definitely enjoyed watching it. Make sure, if you missed anything or you want to get those highlights from tonight's tournament, you head on over to the LVP YouTube channel, LVP UK. Everything gets uploaded very swiftly, and you can make sure that you can find those VODs as quickly as possible. And of course, if you want more information on the schedule, on the format, then head on over to Twitter. LVP UK is the account where everything gets tweeted. And of course, if you want to join the discussion, it's hashtag Forge of Champions. That pretty much rounds up everything that we have to say tonight. It's been a pleasure casting with you two fine gentlemen. It's been a pleasure being here. Looking forward to the finals for this Forge of Champions. The semis and the finals coming in a fortnight's time, the 5th and 6th of September. Guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. We'll catch you in a fortnight on the LVP UK, the Forge of Champions, to continue later on.